Welcome back, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. If this is the first time you've watched this, or if you've watched a few but you don't quite understand or get what the plan is here, or the point is here, or even who I am, um, I'm going to do a little brief hello there. First, a couple comments I want to get to. I've been talking about anxiety. I've been talking about my time at war. I've been talking about my time in the military, time as being a parent, time as being a husband, father, grandfather, and my time doing lots of different things. Well, I'll get to it in a minute. And my anxiety and stress connected to that. I've had a few people reach out and say, well, I have that, but I've never done that. That's the whole point. I think the point is everyone's a little different. Everyone's a little different in the way that the world hits them, the way that they deal with things, the way that they feel, the way that they acknowledge what's going on. The loneliness, the doubt, the things I talked about yesterday and other days, it's not because I'm a soldier, father, grandfather, husband. It's because I'm a human. The things that have gotten me here might be different, but it doesn't mean that either you or I are exclusively, you can only have these feelings if you're one or the other. Okay. You're allowed to be jacked up, screwed up, even if you aren't me. I promise. Now, second thing I had to address, I found out that YouTube does not like that I'm titling my things the way they are because I am not a trained medical person. Okay, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not any of that. I don't have extra credentials at the end of my name. Uh, I am telling you my world experience. I'm telling you what I've lived through. I'm telling you how I'm dealing with things. So if you think I am a trained, licensed anything, I'm not. So I'm a human. I'm a guy. I'm a person. I've made mistakes. I've done dumb things. And guess what? I've learned from some and I've still screwed up and I keep going forward and that's just the way it is. So there's the forewarning, the foreshadowing. All right. So my name is Richard Mariello. I was born in the state of Maine. I have been on this earth for 50 years. And growing up, I grew up with two sisters, one older, one younger. My father and mother got divorced when I was super young. My mother remarried. My father remarried. My father moved to Florida. Uh, and my mother is who I stayed with my stepfather, John. Growing up, I spent a lot of time with my Uncle Tony on weekends, who helped me learn more about basically superheroes and video games. Okay. My father did take me to Star Wars. My father gave me love of certain sci fi things, but my Uncle Tony really gave me the foundation for that. Growing up, I felt out of place. I felt like I didn't deserve to be in a family. I felt alone. I felt neglected. Now, the age I'm at, they call it Gen X. Gen X, a lot of us feel that way, I guess. I'm not new. I'm not OG with that. Uh, but I had those feelings anyway. Growing up, I also did a lot of negative things to my life. I'd steal, I did drugs, I drank. And in that time, I was doing that to, stealing was more to fulfill the need to get the drugs and the alcohol. But uh, I did the drugs and alcohol because I didn't know what else to do. I kind of felt alone. I kind of felt like I had nothing else going on. So the best thing to do was to forget it existed. And so that's what I did. And back in the 80s, that's what we did. Now, in 1989, September, I had come off a weekend of bad activity. Um, and I was asleep in my room and I had a dream. In the dream, um, a godlike figure, I call it God, you can call it whatever you want. I call it God. Uh, God and I were floating above a gymnasium floor, and on the wall it said Kennebunk Christian Academy, 10 years of excellence. Excellence, 1979 to 1989. Now, God gave me a choice that day. He showed me all these kids, all these people, all these things. And then he said, okay, you can choose this or this. And then the other this was he opened the gym floor and it was burning bright, shining, horrible. Those are my two options. And I realized at that moment that um, I was on the wrong path. Now, what I did, it was 2 days before school started. I called up the school. I looked them up in the yellow pages. That was like Google, but with paper. And I called up and I asked. what to do. So I brought my mother in and I did the tour, did the sign up, and I signed up. Um, they didn't have time to give me the entrance exam until the day school started, so I did that the first day of school. And for the first couple months when I went to school, I was a hot mess. I had decided I was no longer going to drink. I was no longer going to do drugs. I was just going to take God's leaning and stop. Well, if you've ever done those things or done anything like that, when you stop suddenly, you act like a complete idiot. And I did. So a guy that I now consider one of my friends, his name was Glenn. He decided to, on the second day of school, slam me up against the locker and tell me basically, "Hey, you need to stop, or I'm gonna have to kill you." Now, he didn't mean kill me. He just was like, "You're out of control, dude, and you need to stop." At the time, though, this guy was over 6 feet tall, and I wasn't close to hitting a growth spurt yet. And I took that as okay, I'm in the wrong mindset. First quarter goes by. I'm not doing so hot. Grades are bad, everything's bad. Second quarter goes by, still same thing. I've missed a day of school. Second quarter goes by, my mother and stepfather decide they're getting a divorce. Um, and I can no longer go there because she can't afford it. We're moving in with my grandmother. Things are ending. Uh, I decide that's not a good option. So I asked the principal at the time, Raymond Atisico, "Hey, can I get a job here to help pay my tuition?" So I became a custodian at the school. I worked with someone named Bob. Bob was deaf-ish. I don't know. He had a speech impediment, and I think he was deaf, or at least he had a hard time with language. I worked with him. I buffed the gym floor. I took out the trash. I worked weekends. I worked after school. They gave me a key to the school, so that's when you know that it was a different time. Uh, but I did that to help pay my tuition because I knew I belonged there. But with all the turmoil and craziness of the time, I had past history because of David Ingrassi, who is who I named this podcast after, the category mistake. I passed math, I passed science. I didn't pass English. So I failed ninth grade English. English, real good. Yeah. In between ninth and 10th grade, my mother gave me the option I could either uh, live at home and go to a public school or not be home. Instead of just choosing, I just left and I couch surfed for a while. And couch surfing in today's world is different than it was back then. I didn't tell uh, Mark Story's parents or Kirsten Brown's parents, who are the same people, that my mother kicked me out. I just said, "Hey, can I hang out here for tonight?" Or "Hey, can I hang out here for a week?" I did that with lots of different groups of people. And I did that because I didn't know what else to do. I knew KCA was the option for me, but I didn't know how to do it while being homeless. So I couch surfed. That's when I started getting close to Micah Story and Nathan Shink. Um, Micah Story and I were not really close, but here's what Micah Story did do. He taught me more about Jesus, and he wanted me to find Jesus in my life and God in my life. And though God had scared me, it still wasn't something I fully understood or believed in. And it's funny because Micah and I weren't Biffles, best friends or whatever. Um, when he started telling me, "Hey, uh, God loves you, Jesus loves you, and you need to do this, and I care that you need to do this," I started thinking to myself, "Wait a minute, the guy that I'm not friends with tells me that this is important. Maybe this is important. Maybe this is actually what I should be doing." And so I did. And with that, Mike and I still, I probably wouldn't consider him my friend. I mean, I'm assuming he lives, in New Hampshire where most of his family lives, but I don't know. Nathan and I, though, Nathan was friends with Micah, but Nathan and I got really close. We were in the same grade. He was younger, uh, but Nate and I became close. I don't know why. It's almost like we fit each other's needs at the time. I needed someone who just was there, who would support me, who would you know, listen to my dumb ideas and work with me. Him and I built a laser. We tried to multiple times. We got wedges and we called them Mama, yeah, Big Mama pumping wedges. Uh, we did lots of funny things together. We played video games. We bought Super Nintendo together back in the day when it was new. Um, but Nate and I became really close. We had similar music likes. We both like certain movies. We both like certain things. It was a relationship that I could trust. And at the time, I didn't have that. Uncle Tony and I had gone our separate ways. I getting older, and I kind of when I got into drinking and all the stupid, I kind of forgot. I just kind of dropped him, which was really obnoxious of me. The man spent a lot of time trying to protect me and take care of me, and I screwed that up. So sorry, Tony, I really am. Um, but Nate and I kind of hit it off. Nate's mom and Nate, Glenn, and I, us three. Glenn was his older brother by a year. We were good friends. We hung out. We did a lot of dumb things together. We played Risk. We played Street Fighter 2. We stayed up all night drinking Mountain Dew and eating bad food, pizza, all that stuff. Okay, that's what teenagers did back then. There was no internet really to do anything, so that's what we did. But his mom was special. So David Ingrassi was special to me because uh, he saw me and said, "You've got a God's got a plan for you, like it or not, and I'm going to help educate you so you can get to God's plan and do what God has for you." Um, Sharon, on the other hand, said, God has a plan for you. I have no idea what it is, but I'm going to love you even when you're being stupid and not listening. And Sharon was a mother to me. Before I met Sharon Shink, I didn't really know. I thought what my mother was a mother. Um, and now with my wife and with other people, I know that that's not really what a mother is. Um, Mothers love you unconditionally, even when you're being stupid. Now, they will call you out when you're being stupid, but they will love you unconditionally no matter good, bad, or ugly. Okay. And Sharon, I think to this day, would admit she loved me even though I wasn't hers. Um, she cared. Uh, so my senior year of high school, I am now living with the Shinks. I had um, burned every bridge. All I had left was the Shinks. And I went through my senior year of high school. I had to do ninth grade and 12th grade English at the same time because, again, failed ninth grade math, ninth grade English. And did that, graduated. I had met my wife in the spring of my senior year, so right before I graduated. And my wife was amazing, still is, but she made me feel and do things I didn't think I could. And one of those things is I felt like, okay, when I graduate, she's going to be a senior next year. I can make this work. I can be the boyfriend who hangs out at the school after school. I can work during the day and I can do it all. Well, I couldn't. Come the following spring, March, uh, my mother, who I'd moved back in with for a little bit, had kicked me out. Um, my wife's family and my family both didn't really like either one of us being together. And so for a while I was hanging out at her house, but her dad, I mean, what he was doing wasn't wrong. Her dad basically said, "Hey, you can't be here all the time." And I get that. I wouldn't let that happen now. So I don't, he was a blessing to let it happen when it did. Anyway, I was homeless. I stole a toothbrush, toothpaste, some soap, and got arrested and paid the fine. And I was still homeless for a little bit. Then I moved back in with my mother. Now, um, my wife just got pregnant. She wasn't my wife yet, but she got pregnant. And that April, she actually broke up with me on our anniversary, which is looking back fine. It's okay. So from April to June, the end of June, um, I had a pregnant wife or a pregnant girlfriend who was no longer my girlfriend. I had no job, and I still had really no place to be. I had given up hope of everything. But then Lynn, my loving, caring wife, um, asked me to go to certain appointments with her, asked me to do certain things with her, and I did. And we, she allowed me to come back into her life. And in June of that year, I proposed to her after we got back together, which is, I know, kind of quick. Um, and our daughter was born that following November, and we were married that December. So it was a quick wedding. Now, come March the next year, this is where everything kind of gets crazy and why I'm doing this today. Um, my sister and her got into an argument. I pushed my sister. I did. Um, I didn't hurt her, but I pushed her. Police were called. I was arrested with an assault charge. Da, 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 da. I pay a fine. I don't worry about it. It's 30 years ago, right? Of course, now I'm worrying about it because there's issues with that because they in the state of Maine never go away. If you live in a state where they do, God bless you. But they don't go away here ever. My kids are born. I have my daughter, my two sons, then other kids and other kids and other kids. And for the first 10 years of our marriage, we struggled. We struggled financially. We struggled everything. Um, but during that first 10 years, I joined the military. I joined the military because I saw a commercial and I was laying on the couch and I realized I did nothing productive. I didn't go to school. I didn't go to college. I went from job to job, not really caring about anything. So I joined the military, joined the army, become a medic, go to school, go to the second, go to basic training, then go to school. Um, During that time, my wife ended up in the hospital. I got Red Crossed out. Basically, the Red Cross came and said, "Your family's in need. You gotta go." Went back to my unit, and the Red Cross said, "He can't be part of this anymore." So my unit discharged me. Now, when you get Red Cross discharged, you're done. Um, but so this all happened between 1999 and 2004. So 9/11 had happened. The world was crazy. I get out and my kids get older. My kids get more mature, more my kids. And I still struggle with jobs. I still struggle bouncing back and forth. I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. And my daughter says, "Hey, Dad, why don't you join back in the army? You didn't finish it. You told us always finish stuff. So we'll finish it." I said, "Well, I can't." "Oh, yeah, you can." So we reached out, and she had me reach out to the recruiter. The recruiter laughed, said no. Uh, and then she had me reach out to our senator's office. And uh, after talking with her people and her, I got myself back in. Got back in the military, went back and retrained. Didn't do basic training, but did schooling and training. Then I got deployed to Afghanistan. Got deployed in Afghanistan. I spent a little time there. Um, I learned a lot about myself being in a war zone, learned a lot about myself being um, away from my family for basically a year, being away from civilization, being away from good internet or cable or running water that's not in a bag. These are the things that you take for granted. While I was away, I discovered that I owed myself and my family more. So I got back home. I got some injuries overseas. Um, I went to the VA, finally got the VA to help me out. I went back to school, got my teaching degree, became a teacher. Now, I taught middle school history, high school history, science, and technology. And some of my students still communicate with me today, probably like I try to communicate with David and Gracia. I don't know how many students of his communicate with him. I still do. Um, they still communicate with me today. And the things they communicate me with are like Haley said, "Hey, it wasn't toe shoes, it was wait. I'm gonna read the text because that's where I'm at right now in my life. Um, I want to make sure I get this right because I told her I would apologize online. Uh, they're point shoes, not toe shoes. So point shoes. Okay. Um, so if anyone's a dancer out there and I upset you, forgive me. Um, but they still reach out to me. "Hey, I'm going to the Coast Guard," or "Hey, I'm going to the Navy," or "Hey, I'm going to college and I'd like a recommendation letter," or "Hey, I'm going to get a job and I need a letter of reference." Some of them just go, "Hey, my life is not great right now. Can we talk? All of those are okay for me. I love being communicated with. I have friends of mine who have reached out more in the last couple days than they have in 5 years. I have wives of friends of mine who have reached out to me more than 20 years. And um, that's why I'm really doing this. It's my anxiety, my stress, my depression, my feeling of hopelessness. Um, I know it's not where I'm supposed to be. Humans are not supposed to feel like they're alone. And when they feel like they're alone, that's when desperate things, bad things happen. We are creatures designed by God to be around other people. He didn't just make Adam, he made Eve. Okay. If you don't want to believe it that way, if we didn't have somebody else in our life, the human race would stop. Okay. There is no reproduction without a second person. Um, and no matter how environmentally friendly you are, without people, you can't discuss the bad things we're doing to the environment, I guess. Um, but that's a struggle a lot. And I've heard from friends, from non-friends, from people who just watch this podcast that they have felt alone too. And one of them literally said today, um, I feel all that and haven't gone to war. Hence, again, why I said that in the beginning. I think I'd still have a lot of this with or without war. When I was in high school, I felt this way. When I was before high school, the reason I drank and did drugs was because I felt this way. What the military did, good or bad, the good parts, they taught me that I can be around other people and I do well with that. It taught me that I can teach other people no matter where in the world I am and what I'm teaching. If I'm passionate and I know the information, I can teach them. What it also taught me, though, is how to be isolated, how to feel like if you admit you're weak, you're wrong and you're bad. And that's the struggle I'm having. It's a struggle for us every day, right? It's a struggle when we wake up. Some people wake up, everything's perfect. But even those people, a lot of times it's just they tell themselves it's okay. They don't always fight those battles. I found out recently that a friend of mine's mom, she she kind of just stopped. She stopped being the dutiful wife, beautiful person. She just stopped and she changed her mentality. And looking back, it happened after all the kids left. And I'm wondering if she had that. I'm alone now. The kids are gone. What do I do? How do I feel? How do I do this? Um, and that's something that I struggle with. When my kids don't need me, I struggle. When my students, our ex-students, don't need me, I struggle. I feel like if I'm not needed, I'm not wanted. If I'm not wanted, then why am I here? And that's why I do this also. I feel like if one person watches a video and one person likes it, or a new person likes it, or a new person subscribes, or a new person uh, comments, even if it's negative, then you know what? My thoughts got out there. Somebody heard it. And maybe they don't like everything I say. I mean, I don't always like everything I say. But maybe there's something in there they do like. Maybe there's something in there that they can grasp onto and understand. And that's what I'm going for. I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm not trying to be a doctor. I'm not trying to be a therapist. I'm trying to be a dad, grandfather, a husband, a human that survives, um, who takes all the crazy, all the crazy of the world, and he tries to find his path, his way to not just survive, but to thrive. Now, I haven't gotten the thriving down yet, but I'm surviving. Every day I wake up and I don't feel like I don't want to wake up is a good day. And on the days I don't feel like I want to wake up, getting out of bed, texting somebody, calling somebody, messaging somebody saying, "Hey, how are you today?" Or "Hey, can I call real quick?" that shows that my existence still matters. Not to them, to me. Because in the long run, with my anxiety, with my stress, my depression, I have to feel like I matter to me. If I don't feel like I matter to me, then I can't matter to anyone else. I have to feel like I have self worth. And the more and more I do this, the more and more I realize I have worth. People do care about me. And while I think sometimes I'm jinxed or God doesn't care, um, afterwards, after I'm done having the pity party, um, I know God has a plan. And this podcast has brought back people in my life that I haven't talked to in a long time. They have brought in people I didn't know and knew I existed. It brought in people who I knew care about me, but they say it clearer now. And it brought in myself, whole mindset now. Every day when I wake up, I'm going, okay, today I'm going to talk about this. And that's the point, guys. I'm on meds. I don't sleep great. I still stress out. I still have anxiety. I still worry about everything. But I'm okay. Not perfect, not great, not thriving yet, but I'm okay. And tomorrow, hopefully, I'm better than today. And that's what we're here for, guys. So thank you all for watching, listening to why I'm here, what I'm doing, who I've been. If I said something that's not historically accurate to one of the people that were part of it, correct me. I've been hit in the head a few times, so I might have missed something. Um, but I care, and I didn't mention everybody who's been part of my life, like I've mentioned before. But I'm telling you right now, the people who have been part of my life have changed it for the better. Even those ones who drove me crazy or did stupid things, I'm still better because of it. So thank you all. Until tomorrow.